Social Development in partnership with the Critical Studies in Sexuality and Reproduction Research Program are co-hosting an international conference on abortion and reproductive justice. The event taking place in Makhanda is a build-up from their two smaller conferences that took place in 2016 in Ireland and Canada. The conference is seeking to talk to issues and problems relating to abortion in many countries. And this conference will be of high interest and a big talking point not only for South Africa but the world at large, as it has attracted speakers from various countries, especially African countries. We're now joined on the line by our reporter Iviwe Poti, who's been watching this conference. Iviwe, thanks very much for joining us. Tell us a little bit about this gathering, Unfettered Universal Access to Safe Abortions and Reproductive Justice for Women the world over. This is coming sharply into focus this week.
Definitely, Peter. Well, what I can tell you is that I think mainly what the conference is about, is in terms of creating an international campaign for women's rights to have a safe abortion, specifically in those countries where, an abortion has been legalized, such as in South Africa since about 1997. So in terms of our constitution, it has been legal for about 21 years. But from the sessions that we've been sitting in today with colleague Oluwethu Matsipane, you'll find out that there are quite a number of issues that South Africa is also still facing in terms of ensuring that women and, girls of a reproductive age are actually able to access these resources through your government facilities, your public health facilities as well. And Peter, we've also found out that there are about 26 countries where there's still a ban on abortion. Also, they have requirements in terms of if it's to save a life of a woman, then maybe you are able to have an abortion. But you aren't able to have more of, a say over your own body that, I want to have an abortion because I'm unable, to have a child right now. I'm financially or in terms of personal preference of health, I'm unable to have a child right now. So those are some of the difficulties and challenges that, were spoken to in terms of trying to address those issues and also trying to empower other countries in terms of how they can advocate, to have these rights for women so that they can actually practice and be able to have access to these facilities.
Has the voice of African women come through in the conference so far? I mean, I think African women deal with a number of issues on top of what you've just discussed, whether it's facilities and so on and so forth, because there's the added issues of religion and also traditions and cultural practices that make it harder for the African woman perhaps to go down this choice.
Definitely, Peter. Unfortunately, also, when you look at the stats, it doesn't look that great for South Africa because there are almost about 4,000 public health facilities that actually perform termination, but only 7% actually perform termination. So in terms of the public health facilities, when the people here, the advocates that, are speaking to having an abortion are saying that all public health facilities should be able to perform, this medical facility. Unfortunately, it's only 7%. And you find that 7% is not in your remote areas. And you find that poverty-stricken women whom are in the remote areas, which make up majority of South Africa, are unable to actually access these facilities. We're listening to one of the ladies who was actually running an investigation who said she found that in Mpumalanga, in one of the rural areas, in order for you to actually even be able to access a clinic where you are able to have an abortion, you have to spend 3,000 rand just traveling to actually get there and back. And we also find, if you link it now to what we're leading up to the Mandela Week, Trek for Mandela, trying to, find enough financial aid and also support to give young women pads, etc., and sanitary towels to help them go to school every day. When you do go through this medical procedure, you find that there's, in terms of the female body, there's a lot of bleeding afterwards. So what happens to the woman after that? How are they rehabilitated? Those are some of the issues that were touched here. Also issues of, being shunned upon by the community, religious beliefs, also the power of a man over a woman still in South Africa, that, you will have this child whether you want to or not, or you cannot go to an abortion clinic without your parents. People are unaware of their rights. which was one of the things that came out as a highlight for me, Peter, that a lot of people actually think you still need to be 18 in order to be able to have an abortion, which isn't actually, according to the Constitution, it's not the right information. A lack of education, a lack of information is one of the highlighted issues that have come out of here today as well.
Iviwe, that's where we're going to leave it. That's our reporter, Iviwe Poti, live on the line to us, talking about the Abortion and Reproductive Justice Conference, the Unfinished Revolution 3, that's taking place in Makhanda in the Eastern Cape. We're going to take